Hello everyone, and welcome back to PLC Automation. In the previous sessions, we prepared the basic structure of our project. We created the required function blocks, designed the Pump UDT, and prepared the global data block with all the important variables that we will use throughout the complete pump station control system project. At this stage, the block structure is ready, but the SCL logic has not been written yet. We have only created the foundation, and in the next steps, we will start programming the logic inside each function block. In this session, we are going to work on the Mode Manager function block. This block will control the main operating modes of the system, such as AutoMode, ManualMode, SystemRun, Reset Pulse, and Mode Validation. The first input is Start CMD. This signal comes from the HMI. The second input is Stop CMD. This signal is used to stop the system. The third input is Reset CMD. This command is used to reset alarms. The fourth input is Select Auto. This signal is used when the operator selects automatic mode. The fifth input is Select Manual. This signal is used when the operator selects manual mode. The final input is SafetyOK. Now let us look at the outputs. The first output is AutoMode. The second output is manual mode. The third output is SystemRun. This is the main run status of the system. The fourth output is Reset Pulse. This is a one-cycle pulse generated from the Reset CMD input. The fifth output is ModeValid. This signal tells us if the selected mode is valid. Inside the static memory, we create one variable, old Reset CMD. This variable stores the previous state of the reset command. We need this to detect a rising edge and create a reset pulse. SCL logic explanation. Now let us look at the SCL logic. First, we create the reset pulse. Reset pulse equals reset CMD and not old reset CMD. Old reset CMD equals reset CMD. This means the reset pulse becomes true only when reset CMD changes from false to true. After that, we store the current reset command inside old reset CMD, so the PLC can compare it again in the next scan cycle. This is a very common method in PLC programming to create a one-shot pulse. Next, we check the mode selection. ModeValid equals Select Auto XOR Select Manual. Here we use XOR logic. Only one mode is allowed to be active. Auto and manual cannot be selected together. This prevents unsafe or confusing operation. After that, we check the safety condition. If not SafetyOK, then SystemRun equals false. AutoMode equals false. ManualMode equals false. If SafetyOK is false, the system must stop immediately. In that case, SystemRun, AutoMode, and ManualMode are all forced to false. This is very important because safety always has the highest priority. If safety is OK, then we continue with the normal start and stop logic. Else, if stop CMD, then SystemRun equals false. ND underserved. If the operator presses stop, the SystemRun signal is switched off. Then we check the start command. If start CMD and ModeValid, then SystemRun equals true. ND underserved. The system can only start if the start CMD is active and the selected mode is valid. This means the operator must select either auto mode or manual mode before starting the system. Finally, we activate the correct mode output. AutoMode equals SystemRun and select auto and ModeValid. Manual mode equals SystemRun and hashtag select manual and hashtag ModeValid. ND underserved. If the system is running and auto is selected, AutoMode becomes true. If the system is running and manual is selected, manual mode becomes true. This way, the rest of the project can easily know which mode is active. For example, the pressure control block will only work in auto mode. The manual pump commands will only work in manual mode. The alarm system can use SystemRun, auto mode, manual mode, and reset pulse for control and reset functions. Now we are finished with our Mode Manager function block. In the next step, we will start coding the FB_analog scaling function block. This block will be used to convert raw analog input values into real engineering values, such as pressure in bar or flow in cubic meters per hour. The first input is raw value. This is the raw analog value coming from the PLC analog input module. The second input is raw min. This is the minimum raw value of the sensor signal. The third input is raw max. This is the maximum raw value of the sensor signal. The fourth input is eng min. This is the minimum engineering value. The fifth input is eng max. This is the maximum engineering value. For example, for a pressure transmitter from 0 to 10 bar, eng min will be 0.0 and eng max will be 10.0. Now let us look at the outputs. The first output is eng value. This is the final scaled value that we will use in the rest of the project. For example, after scaling, the pressure transmitter can give us a value like 4.8 bar. The second output is sensor fault. This output becomes true when the raw value is outside the expected range, or when the scaling limits are not valid. This is important because if the sensor cable is broken, the signal is missing, or the analog value is outside the valid range, we need to detect that condition and generate an alarm. Now let us look at the first part of the SCL logic. If raw value real understand raw min, or raw value real understand raw max, then sensor fault equals true, else sensor fault equals false. And the underserved scaling formula. The next part is the actual scaling formula. If raw max, raw min, then eng value equals real raw value raw min asterisk eng max eng min slash raw max raw min plus eng min, else eng value equals 0.0. Sensor fault equals true. And the underserved. Before we calculate the engineering value, we first check if raw max is different from raw min. This is important because we cannot divide by 0. If raw max and raw min are the same, the calculation is not possible. In that case, we set eng value to 0.0 and activate sensor fault. If the raw limits are correct, the block calculates the engineering value. The formula takes the raw input value, compares it with the raw range, and converts it into the engineering range. For example, a raw value from the pressure transmitter is converted into bar. A raw value from the flow meter is converted into cubic meters per hour. This makes the value useful for the pressure control, alarms, HMI display, and trends. After the scaling calculation, we limit the output value. If eng value eng min, then eng value equals eng min. And the underserved. If eng value eng max, then eng value equals eng max. And the underserved. This means the final engineering value will never go below eng min or above eng max. For example, if the pressure range is 0 to 10 bar, the output value will stay between 0 and 10 bar. This is useful for HMI display, trend stability, and alarm handling. Even if the raw value gives a small error or goes slightly outside the range, the displayed value will remain inside the expected limits. This was our session for today. At this point, we have prepared and programmed two important function blocks, FB_mode manager and FB_analog scaling. In the next session, we will continue working on our pump station control system project and move further into the control logic. If you found this session useful, don't forget to leave a comment and share your thoughts or questions. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in the next session. Have a great day, and bye for now.